As I was preparing to speak, I began to ask myself the same question that I now know has been troubling many of you. Why have we not been able to get together as a nation?
There are some set of problems that are only faced by black people.
Yeah, and again, this is not the kind of racism that the 1950s or 40s, I wasn't lynched, so again, I don't want to claim equal trauma to what earlier generations had experienced, but you can get, let's call it institutional racism, where you don't
not even racism. I'm talking about people trying to put you off your passion, telling you it's not.
That's not calling that racism. What I'm saying is, they see that I'm athletic. I've been athletic most of my life, and they can't wrap their head around me being something other than an athlete that they watch on television. When I say, well, I actually like astrophysics, but you're so good at this other sport. No, I want to be in the physics club. No, we need you on the basketball team. And they think they're doing me a favor. They think they're saying nice things to me. But every one of those is a force operating against my ambitions. And so, in a way, just that my skin color in my life's arc was a path of most resistance.
Around the world, the black person has faced the problem of slavery, and he has also faced the problem of colonialism. The problem we are having of slavery, or rather we had of slavery back in the days, is now a problem that has metamorphosized, or it has camouflaged or evolved to become a problem that is now faced with police brutality. We have economic inequality, we have prejudices, unjust justice system for the black people in the United States of America. Yeah, so we've had many voices come out of the United States of America to try and bring a balance to this, to try and bridge the gap that exists between the government of the United States and the lives of the black people, because somehow it seems that the government of the United States of America never regard the life of a black person as equal as that of the white person. As you know, the majority of the seats in the United States government is white people, and predominantly white. It was for the first time that we saw Barack Obama become the first black president, and this changed the fate of so many black people in the United States of America. Or rather, we can say this depending on whom you ask. Some people say that Obama helped the black people. Some people say Obama did not help the black people. Still depends with whom you ask. Now, you remember Martin Luther King Jr. once said that, "I have a dream." Martin Luther King was a man who wanted solidification of the United States of America. He wanted equality for the people of the United States of America. And he died, but he said that one day the United States of America will change. And the change, he said, some people proclaim that it was achieved when Barack Obama became the first black president. Some people say that because now the justice system has improved from what it used to be. It used to be worse than what we have today. That was the dream of Martin Luther King Jr. I believe the dream of Martin Luther King Jr. still continues. It has still not been achieved, or some bits of it has been achieved. For this reason, we've had many other voices of the black people all around the world in USA.
And by the way, we just spent a half hour talking about this, and I hardly ever talk about it. I don't talk about it because I don't need to. Maybe if it's a counseling session, but I'm perfectly fine. I'm a happy guy, happily married, got 2 kids, and I hardly ever talk about skin color because I want to make it irrelevant as quickly as I possibly can.
Such voices are the voices of Neil deGrasse. Neil deGrasse is a professor, he's a doctor, or he's a physicist actually, and the voices of those people who are, public figures, celebrities, are heard more because they have a huge influence to the people. In one particular interview, Neil deGrasse, the doctor, was able to speak something that I think is very much encouraging to the people, to the black people of the United States of America, in a situation of trying to bring balance, in a situation of trying to bring equality to the United States of America. Here is the speech that Neil deGrasse was giving in an interview.
So, if you're going to invite me to give a public talk in February, Black History Month, I will decline that invitation. If you only think of me as a black scientist, then I have failed as a scientist. Period. Period. You want me to, and you know how I realized this? Okay. So I will tell you the moment after which I was a different person interacting with the public. Okay. I'm in graduate school. There's an explosion on the sun. And the press, it's over the wires. Press hears about this. So they want to get a comment on it. An explosion on the sun. So they called Columbia, the Department of Astronomy. And they're looking for it was lunchtime. They were all out to lunch. I'm a doctoral candidate. I'm there for my PhD. And so the department admin is going through the roster, and they get to me and say, Neil, no one is here. Can you take this call? So I said, sure. And they said, oh, hello, who are you? I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson, doctoral candidate in astrophysics. They say, there's an explosion on the sun. Should we be worried? I said, oh, it's a solar flare. They happen with some frequency. It's a wave of particles coming towards Earth. And they said, you mean the Earth is fine? I said, the Earth is fine. And they said, can you tell us that on camera? Sure. Okay, we'll send up a limo to pick you up in a half hour. And so the whole conversation, there it was. And it was pre-taped. I get home, I put on the TV, and I watched this interview. And I had an out-of-body experience. I just witnessed something I've never seen before in my life. And you know what that was? It was the news interviewing a black person, me, who was not an entertainer or athlete, okay? Interviewing a black person for expertise that had nothing to do with being black. The interview didn't say at the end, well, how do black people feel about solar flares? Oh, does this affect dark skin differently? None of that. It was, will Earth be safe? And he's getting that expertise from a black person. I'd never seen that. And then I thought, well, is it just because I'm on TV and I'm a little more aware? So I watched for the next 2 years, every time there was a black person brought onto the news for expertise. It was someone who's a member of Congress representing a community and they want enterprise zones for the economics. There is someone who is worried about the poverty in the inner city. Never had an audience seen a black person as an expert. Oh, they would have attorneys, but it's talking about a court case about a black person. Would they ever bring a black attorney to talk about a court case about a white person? No. And I said to myself, that is the answer. That's how we turn an entire world of people who think black people are just dumb and stupid, lazy, shiftless, and all they can do is shine my shoes and entertain me and sing and be the athlete on the field. If there was ever a force to change that, it's not people telling them they should think differently. It's me being visible in a way where they have no other choice but to say, oh my gosh, this person knows more about this subject than I do, and he has dark skin. So that the next time they see a homeless black person, they're not saying, oh, black people are just like, they have to confront the fact that they just saw a black person tell them that Earth was safe. So it's just quite simple. The next time you're driving your car and somebody comes up with a squeegee to wash your window at the red light and begs for money, and if that person is black, maybe you'll think twice about the causes and effects of poverty, of the forces that operate, that discriminate against one community of people versus another. So, ever since that moment, I have declined interviews that want me because I'm black. And even in this interview, I'm not entirely comfortable spending a half hour talking about it, because it turns this interview into something about me being black, which then is someone hears me for the first time. Oh, let's get him. He has all these stories about being black. Let's get him to talk to this group about in this race conference.
So guys, that was Dr. Neil deGrasse, and you know, this man is very vocal. He's a scientist. He has contributed a lot to the black community. And one thing I like about this conversation is the idea that let's remove the topic of skin color from discussions. Let us remove the topic of skin color from normal conversation, from education, from politics. We don't have to say a black physicist proved this and that. We need to say someone proved this and that. We don't need to call the name of color. We don't need to have a discussion. And Neil deGrasse says that if he was invited to a Black History Month podcast, or rather a place for him to speak, he wouldn't. And he's given a good reason for that. You understand? Malcolm X used to say, the United States of America has made it insufficient, has made it impossible for the black man to live over there, and that the black community and the US government should allow the black community to have their own state, and they should have their own country and their own governance. In as much as Malcolm X was very radical and he was out of the blue with his thoughts, somehow if we come back and we think of it, this man was a genius for what he said, you know, because it's now impossible. It's impossible to remove the card of race from conversations, to remove the card of race from business, to remove the card of race from education, politics, every aspect of life. Black people should be seen as just as any other human in America. That's what I believe should be done. And I believe that Dr. deGrasse should at least speak for his people. Not, you know, speaking for your people does not make you against other people. For example, he is black. Him speaking for the black people does not make him an enemy of the white. He is just speaking for his own people. Because if I also go back and I remember the words of Desmond Tutu. Desmond Tutu was a South African clergyman. He said that if you look at crime being committed and you stay silent, you act not to stop it, you are an accomplice, and you are also a perpetrator. You are as guilty as that person who is committing this, because you've taken no action to speak. Dr. deGrasse, this one is now my negative criticism towards him. He himself is black. So him speaking for the black people and of the black people is something which is he should be doing. He shouldn't refuse about it, you know. If we didn't have Malcolm X, if we didn't have Martin Luther King, if we didn't have Marcus Garvey, if we didn't have Bob Marley, if we didn't have those voices that spoke for the black people in the past, we wouldn't be having America for the blacks like the one we have today. Even maybe we wouldn't have the first black president. So Neil deGrasse refusing to speak about his people and for his people, that is a no for me. I've shown you both sides, and I want you to show me your side on the comment section. Let's further this discussion in the comment section and tell me what you think. Yep, these EFK original documentaries. If you like what I do, you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel. I will surely appreciate. And see you in the next one.